Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to
Hi.
Monthly Night Live, a week late and with a lot more people than normal.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully soon to be.
Yes. So we are just settling in. Jason has his fancy glass. But while we are settling in and we're waiting for more people to join us out there in the internet world, we like to play at the beginning of all of our lives something we call 50 state bingo. And there's really no bingo in it. Like, no one's going to yell out bingo. That's just the name I gave it like 1,000 years ago. And all you do is you just tell us what state you're watching this from. And the goal is to get all 50 states, and then we'll start to distill it down, and maybe we'll get some major cities after that.
Do we ever actually
Hi.
count to see that we got all this?
I count in my head and it happens. That's how this works. I keep track in my mind.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This is our Monthly Night live stream that we do for mile marker members who are sort of our paid support community. We do it once or twice a year. We open it up to everybody. So if you're seeing it, this is why. If you're not a mile marker member, if you're interested in joining mile markers, there's information at the bottom of the screen. But we are here to talk about RVing and travel and whatever else might be on your mind. We have a lot of fun on these and just hang out and answer questions and read comments and stuff like that. So if you have a question about RVing, about us, about anything else, please feel to leave it down in the comments. Hit the like button. That would be great, so that YouTube and Facebook will show this to more people.
Jason, you're supposed to ask them to smash that like button.
Smash that. We need like a.
You need
I have that. I just don't know which button does what.
So I just want to run off because you guys are all great. Listen, we've got Wisconsin, Tennessee, Virginia, Colorado, California, Vegas, and Vegas is basically acting as its own state here tonight. We've got some people from Cape Cod, Carolina, North Carolina. We're going to be, hey, North Carolina, we're coming for you in just a few weeks. Cannot wait to get there. We've got Arkansas, Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is awesome. So everyone's jumping in. This is super amazing. We are representing the state of Illinois here tonight. We're in the Mile Zero studio. For those of you who don't know what the Mile Zero studio is, that's totally fine. But this is, we're no longer full-timers. We know we still get questions about that, which makes so much sense because we were for almost 8 years full-timers on the road. We are no longer on the road. We have put down some roots in Western Illinois, Jason's hometown, right along the Mississippi. And we are building out a studio. We bought a little storefront in this very quaint downtown area of Rock Island, Illinois. And I wish the goal was to be able to flip this camera around and show y'all what we got going on over here.
The space that you see us recording from normally here in the studio is going to be sort of our office part of the studio and not our set. So the set is being built behind the camera over there. And I think we're at the point though where we have to take a break from it. And for the next few weeks, we're gonna sort of be recording a lot of content so that we have some stuff in the hopper for when we hit the road. We've camped a little bit this year so far, but our big trip begins at the beginning of July, and we're going to be gone for about 6 or 7 weeks. So over the course of that time, we've got a lot of content that we want to put out, of course. Some of it we'll have to do from the road, but we like to get some done in advance. So we're going to take a break from doing any construction in the studio and ramp that back up when we get back. So we'll probably won't be debuting the full set and everything until sometime in September, I'm guessing.
Maybe even a little bit later. We don't plan to be back to this area until mid to late August, and then we roll into birthdays at the end of August. Things get a little crazy as we get ready for back to school around here as well. We continue to have Tennessee checking in. We've got New Hampshire, we have Texas, we've got Michigan, Ohio. This is fantastic. If you're enjoying a cocktail, a mocktail, or your nightly tea, you can drop that in there and let everybody know what you're drinking tonight. We have with us, because we're still in the studio, and I didn't really feel like bringing a bottle of wine and glasses from the house, I picked up the Cutwater. We love Cutwater. They're fantastic, just like on the go cocktails to have. And this one reminds me very much of our dear friends David and Bianca, and a beautiful state park in South Dakota where we enjoyed some Cutwater tequila palomas.
Angostura?
Yes, Angostura. If you get a chance, there are some really great South Dakota state park campgrounds. And Angostura is one that really holds a special place in our hearts. So this always reminds us of our dear friends who we're actually just going to see in about 6 weeks. And we're drinking it because we're extra fancy in plastic. I guess these are like coupe glasses. Is that what they call them? I think.
Sure.
They're very fancy. Picked them up at Hy-Vee.
Eventually, we'll have a little mini bar in here. We do finally have a refrigerator. We have a little, dorm refrigerator in here finally. But eventually we'll have our own little mini bar so that we don't have to bring stuff from home.
Tequila always takes me a minute. Like, we're not really friends at the beginning of a drink. It always takes me just a little bit. So anyway, I see y'all are jumping in here. We've got some cider Jameson. Mike's got his Jameson as usual. That is, in Jason's world, a solid drink. But I'm going to start grabbing questions and tossing them up there on the screen, or just comments y'all are making. And of course, I can't not start with this one from our dear friend Deb. 121 days till homecoming, but who's counting?
Homecoming
right?
is our sort of end of camping season, though not really. A lot of us camp into the fall, but end of camping season rally that we hold now every year. This is our second year in early October in Amana, Iowa. Amana is a really cool historic German settlement, and they have little wine shops and a brewery, and there's a big Oktoberfest that goes on the week before our homecoming. But it's a really fun area to hang out in, and a great campground for rallies because it's only $35 a night for full hookups, and they give us a building and everything. So we do little seminars, we have a cornhole tournament, we do a live episode of the podcast, stuff like that. So it's a whole lot of fun. If you're interested in going to that, please head over to the website rvmiles.com, and the information for homecoming is up in the corner.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And something new to homecoming this year that we're kind of really wanting to get out there and push is that we're doing a seminar this year at homecoming. So Jason was talking about seminars that we do, but we're doing one this year that's really going to be focused around listening to you, the RV consumer. What are the things that are concerning you about the RV industry? What are the things that you're finding as positives right now in our RV lifestyle? Having a chance for all of us to sit down together in a room and really talk about these things and put something tangible together that we can then take back here at RV Miles as we continue to try to be representatives for the RV consumer in a news-based, fact-based way, and that we can work with this information, that we can all as consumers work together to elevate those things that are really working for the industry and constructively talk about the things that we're concerned about. So this is a great opportunity. If that is something you would like to have a voice in, we would love your voice and would like to invite you to come and join us at homecoming and be a part of that seminar.
This is a really interesting time for the RV and camping industries. Our RV sales, if you just watched the news video that I just put out like an hour ago.
Jason's been in this office since 9:00 this morning. Like, he's not been home yet at all today.
RV sales are about half of what they were in 2021, which was an amazing bellwether year, right? But they're still much lower than they even were pre-pandemic. So this is kind of an interesting sort of reset time for the RV industry, where they have to do a little bit more competing with each other than they had to in the last few years. And I think we're going to see a lot of them trying to compete a little bit more on things like innovation and quality, and campgrounds as well. So camping is still booming. Camping is still really big, still going very strong. However, reservations for this year are down about 5% at commercial campgrounds over what they were last year. And there are a lot of new commercial campgrounds coming online, a lot of new big RV resorts with a lot of money put into them. And I think a lot of those new places are going to realize that they're going to have to spend some dollars in competing for your dollars as well. So I think we can put together a nice report for both the RV industry and the campground industry to share with them a lot of your thoughts on what's going on.
Yeah. So please come and join us. You can just learn more about it at rvmiles.com/homecoming. We have to highlight our friend Craig here, who is hanging out in the great state of Indiana right now, our next door neighbor, but he's on his way to Alaska via Davenport.
Yeah, we're
gonna see him. He just said, "I'll see you in 2 weeks and 1 day." So, actually, where we're at, I mentioned we're in Rock Island, Illinois. Well, Rock Island, Illinois sits right on the Mississippi, and I can look out my back window here, where in our parking spot, and I can see the city of Davenport on the other side. So, Davenport, Iowa, is our friendly neighbor. And we look forward to seeing you, Craig, in just a couple weeks. We hope you have some really safe travels.
If anybody's coming through the area, we're meeting up with a few people as they come through the area this summer. Can't guarantee that we'll be able to do it, but if you're traveling along I-80, we're right off of I-80. So if you're coming through here and you're staying overnight somewhere, we would love to say hi, and we can show you the mess of the studio or something like that.
Yeah, it'll be a mess. Steve, listen. That's like a 3-day drive. Like, come on, my friend. Like, let's go. Come on down. We'll make sure that we have a nice cold or warm beverage, depending on what the weather decides to do in October in Amana. So come on down, buddy.
It's only like 45 miles from us. So.
Yeah, it is. So Amana, Iowa is where we're going to be. Amana, Iowa is a really cool I'm losing my brain. Just stop. Thank you.
It was a German settlement.
To you, please.
It was a German settlement where they had communal kitchens. So you build a bunch of houses, and then you build like a kitchen house, and different families come and have communal meals together. And that practice, I mean, they still sort of do it in a demonstration way. Maybe some families do it for real, I don't know, but that practice is not ended that long ago. And so there's a lot of German furniture and quilts and wines and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people think it's an Amish community. It's not.
It's not.
But it's a real fun community to hang out with. A lot of history, but also lots of cool little restaurants and stuff like that. It is also off of I-80, so it's real convenient to get to. That's why we do it here, center of the country. So hopefully as many people as possible can get here for it.
Yeah, so we hope to see y'all there. Let's grab this question here from our friend Brian. And he wants to know, did you guys ever drive over the now damaged Teton Pass? We did that drive once. Crazy that a whole section is gone.
I've only been on a little. I've never gone over it. I was on it a little bit when I was just there skiing in Jackson, and it's wild to me because, so if you don't know, the Teton Pass connects Idaho with Jackson, Wyoming. And Jackson is a very expensive place to live. So a lot of the people that work in Jackson, which is sort of the gateway community in the South for both Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone, a lot of the people that work in that town actually live in Idaho and commute. It's like an hour, I think, over the pass or something. Don't quote me on that. Other people would know better than me, but that access is entirely gone now. So I don't even know how long of a drive to get around that is, if it's even feasible. But that's really crazy to me. So if you don't know, this big chunk of the Teton Pass, so you're not really supposed to take trailers over it, or at least trailers of a certain length. So that's why we've never actually been over it. But a big hunk of a corner just completely imploded, and it is going to be a long time before they are able to figure out a way to bridge that gap.
Do you know off the top of your head what the roundabout time is now for those who need to access?
I think I don't know what the path from to the south is.
Like,
I know I just
you're
spilled.
just spilling
This is
drinks
why
over here.
this is why glasses like this make zero
They're
sense.
they're
They
the
make-
worst. Hy-Vee, these glasses are the worst, just so you know.
But I think the quickest path is to go up through Yellowstone and back down. So chime in if you know in the comments. But I was going to research it a little bit because Thursday I'm doing a national park news roundup video. So I didn't put that piece of news in this news video that I just did today. I was going to put it in the national park news roundup since that community is so tied to national parks. So I needed to do a little bit more research on that.
Our friend James, knower of all things, like truly, that is a compliment.
I believe it.
That seems about 2 hours, which is incredibly rough for those that head that way on a very regular basis.
It's adding 2 hours in addition to like the hour you might have spent going over the pass. So it's rough for people that live in that area, and they're going to have to figure some stuff out.
So Craig says that he saw someone post that their 1.5 hour commute became a 6 hour commute. Can we talk about that for just a second? Like the insanity that is Jackson, Wyoming, when it comes to housing and affordability. This is someone that works there. And in order to be able to work there and afford to live, they have to drive an hour and a half every single day to work.
It's a real problem in a lot of the gateway communities to national parks.
Yeah.
There's nothing else around them. And most of the affordable housing, such as it was, has been converted by landlords into Airbnbs. So there's no reason for a landlord to rent out a home in West Yellowstone anymore for the whole year when they can Airbnb that for just the summer season and make twice as much money.
I know what you and your dad and your brother paid for your place. That was decent.
It was okay,
but your brother slept on the couch in order, like he didn't even have his own room.
I don't envy, and because of that, a lot of people are RVing and living in RVs, not necessarily by choice, which is it can be difficult for people who didn't intend to or want to do that. So in the Sedona, Arizona area, for instance, a lot of people that end up working in Sedona just boondock on public lands outside of Sedona. And it's a big challenge too, because some of these places, they bring in people for the summer season, for the busy season, to work the coffee shops and all that sort of stuff. And having housing for them to be in it's a challenge.
It's a real challenge. So we are continuing to settle in. More people are still joining us. If you have a question for us, it can be about anything that's going on at RV Miles. If you've got a question for us about our travels this year, we're headed out for 6 weeks in just a few weeks. If you have any questions about like maybe what RV we're taking with us this year, I guess we haven't really talked a whole lot about that. I think the last time we were with everyone, and maybe we'll go to that right now. We'll segue into that. The last time we talked to everyone in the mile markers on our last live stream, we were still undecided how we were going to go. We had felt that our 43-foot fifth wheel, when we were Sabre ambassadors, had become too big for our family, for our lifestyle. It was a fantastic full-time rig, but it just didn't really make sense for us to have something that large that we're not in full-time. The flip is that we felt that the 25-foot Ibex 20 BHS that we had purchased to go from Baja to Alaska, we felt was too tiny. So we were looking for that Goldilocks trailer. And in the end, we have decided that we are going to be selling our Sabre, but that we are just going to stay with the Ibex that we purchased in January of 2023. And that is going to be our rig that we had a great relationship being brand ambassadors with Sabre. They were very hands-off with us, which we appreciated. And as we continue to think about relationships like that for the future, we realized that for what we do at RV Miles and for who we are, from a news standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, from wanting to be people who are sitting in the middle, objectively, just sitting there. It didn't make sense for us to continue to be brand ambassadors for anyone. What it made sense for us to be is just RV Miles, our own self-contained small business that allows us to share good, bad, and everything in between in ways that you can trust that the information you're getting is information based on facts that we have at the time that we're reporting them. So we have decided to leave that sphere of the RV world. It was really a great place for us at the time that we were a part of it for 3 years with Sabre. And now we're just going to be traveling in our 25-foot one room IBEX for the next 6 to 7 weeks. So Bexy is not going anywhere
It's really,
anytime soon.
so we love the convenience of it. It's so small and quick and nimble, and the kids weirdly in something so small have decent sized bed space.
Yeah, it's
So,
really weird.
So it really works out very well for us, and it's so quick and easy to hook up and go and all that sort of stuff. So we had talked about going to a mid-sized fifth wheel or something like that. We still might do that someday. But for now, this is going to be really good for us, I think. So
Yeah.
so we're very excited about keeping it, about traveling.
And you know what?
In it.
Frankly, because I broke my own rule with Bexy, and I'm getting a phone call, but I'm not getting one anymore because I bet it was one of the kids, and they were like,
It was.
"Oh no,
It was
Mom."
Henry.
Was it? Oh, oh, I think I know what that's about. But I broke my own rule, and I put stickers on the back of Bexy. I put an Alaska sticker, our Oregon coast. Yeah. We put some travel stickers.
We can't sell it. Yeah.
So I can't sell it because I'm not going back to Alaska.
Or we got to cut the back off.
What am I going to do? Take that back off and just put it on another RV? I mean, you could probably. But I was like, we can't. That was such a emotional connection. I don't know if any of you put stickers on your rig, but like that was such an emotional thing when I thought about selling the RV. I was like, but we've these really cool stickers back here that they were hard earned last year, like hard earned stickers. And it's sort of like those are about as close right now to a tattoo as I'm getting. Even though I really want one, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Lots of people chiming in about Teton Pass and the stuff around that.
Oh, good.
Have we ever done the balloon fiesta? And you say you've worked it last year and this year, so you know that. So now the thing about balloon fiesta. So we've been to the balloon fiesta twice in Albuquerque. We absolutely love it, and we did like 2 weeks each time, and had just the greatest time. But now our homecoming event is during the balloon fiesta, and it's really hard for us to figure out a different time for it.
There's some of us making plans for 2025. There are things in the works. But we did the balloon fiesta 2 years running. It was amazing. It was truly just like a couple of the best. When I think of like big things that you do as an RVer, like the things that we all have, like these big events we go to, balloon fiesta lived up to it. Even though I was a total skeptic, the first year we went, I was like, please, these have balloons in the sky.
Abby doesn't like things that are popular until she does them.
I mean, this is not a lie. You're not wrong.
For those of you who've never been to balloon fiesta in Albuquerque, so it happens in the early to middle October. And the reason it's such a big thing in Albuquerque is that they have this thing called the Albuquerque box, which is a wind conditions that are formed by the mountains and the valley that allow the balloons to sort of, as they choose which level they're at, because obviously a balloon can only go up and down based on the fire or venting. And depending on the altitude they're at, the winds had different directions, and they can go one way at one altitude and then go up and then come back and then down back. And they could sort of stay in an area, not have to travel long distances. So it's a really ideal condition for hot air balloons. So it's the biggest balloon festival in the world. But if you go, you have to at least give it a week. As it runs over the course of 2 weeks. Don't go for like 2 days and be like, that's probably enough balloons for me, because there's a good chance that those 2 days the winds might be too high and there will be no flying. So you got to give it a good week, because in a week you might only have 1 or 2 days that are really good for balloon flying. A lot of events could be canceled. We certainly experienced that at the last one that we were at. So just a little tip from us. And if you want to go, you have to get reservations the second they open up, or get on the wait list. Like, it's way too late for this year for sure.
Our friend Tim is yelling out bingo. He got bingo. So another thing we do just recently, actually, is a friend of ours in the Mile Markers Facebook group. It's a group we have for Mile Marker members, put together a bingo, which I felt like that was it. I can stop doing what I do for a living, because I've reached the level of success, which is a bingo card after things I talk about. And so
so next now we
have a bingo card of things we might say.
Lots of bingo cards, so people have different.
I know, and I'm really curious. Tim, I'd love to know what got you bingo, because I haven't been paying attention, but I'm very, very curious as to what got you bingo. My mom would like to know, when is the documentary coming out? Isn't that the question?
That's part of why we're halting work on the studio as well, is that we need to buckle down and get that done.
Yeah. So that's actually the plan while we're out on the road this summer. We won't be off work the whole time we're out on the road. That's just not something we're able to do, but we are hoping to take about a week and a half off when we take our kids to Disney. So, because that's just crazy. I mean, Jason has a spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet, and it leaves no time for work. I mean, you have to have a spreadsheet. Like it's just the way it has to go for us. So we have a spreadsheet of everything we're going to be doing, and when we're in Disney. So we're hoping we'll be off then, but we're hoping to get ahead on a bunch of things that we do normally here in the studio before we go, like the podcast and our more evergreen RV life videos that we've been putting out. And then hopefully be working on Baja to Alaska. And maybe, I think we have hired our 16-year-old starting tomorrow. We'll see if he shows up for work. I guess that needs to be like on the bingo card. Will Jack show up for work this week?
Not that
he's ever not shown up for work, but there is a level.
Oh, these cups are terrible.
Wow. There's a level. Oh, Craig just got bingo because we said Disney. There is I think a level for some kids, not all kids, but for some kids, where just, working for your parents doesn't sound like working.
The kid he's going to go into film. I mean, his all day, every day is film.
Yeah.
He loves it to death, but he would rather go get a job at McDonald's than come edit video for us.
Then edit Baja to Alaska. So I think at this point we will have to go and find our own editor.
I have some ideas. I have some ideas for him. I'm gonna give him sequences to edit. That's how it's gonna.
Yeah.
I think he's overwhelmed by, as we are, which is why it isn't done yet. This is the problem. It's overwhelming, and I think that's what he's reacting to, is he's overwhelmed by the enormity of what we're trying to put together with that as a series of videos on all of our travels last year. I actually think it's going to be a lot simpler than it sounds in the end, but it is the big project that we're working on is going through all of that video. If we were ever able to do this again, or if anybody wants advice on how to create a travel docuseries, we have lessons learned for things we should have done.
You're not wrong, Craig. you're not wrong. Like, I mean, generally for the most part, all three of our boys are pretty great when it comes to realistically listening to us. Like, I think in the moments that it really matters, right? But for sure, there is, even with our 10, soon to be 11, so all of our boys take over this summer. By Labor Day, we will have a 17, a 14, and an 11-year-old at home, which in some spheres, in campgrounds, those are all considered adults. So no longer is the 11-year-old considered a kid.
Disney definitely considers them adults.
Well, and a lot of the campgrounds that we travel to consider them adults as well. So,
I kind of want to make like a reel that's like, here's my 3 while we're at Disney. Here we are, a group of 5 adults.
Disney while our children eat kids' meals.
If you're just joining us, welcome to our monthly live stream.
I went over and checked YouTube, and if you're watching from YouTube and got a notification, can you just drop it down in the comments? Because it was not easy to find this video on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, YouTube.
So I had to actually go into the community posts section. And I was a little concerned because the viewer number is pretty close to, it's actually lower than what we usually have for just mile markers. So
there you go. I don't know.
Yeah. So I thought maybe something is up. So if you're watching this on YouTube, were you easily able to find it? Like, let us know what's going on. So
that is because it is listed as unlisted. I
knew something was wrong, Jason. I knew it. I should have said something to you like 15 minutes ago. I think someone in the comments said, "Oh, I finally found you guys." And I thought, well, what's going on? Why are you having such a hard time finding us? So I have a feeling that in just a few moments, we might see an uptick in people that join us, and we might end up repeating ourselves a little bit, but we'll get some more friends in here, which will be fantastic. But that is where we're at for this summer. We're staying in Bexley. We're going to do 6 weeks, 5 adults in a 1-room RV, similar to what we did last year. But honestly, everyone is very, very, very excited. Oh, yeah. I apologize for that, Doug.
We're a mess.
This is what happens, my friend, when I'm putting together an e-blast at 11 o'clock at night, the night before all of this is supposed to happen, while trying to make sure that the kids are all set for 2 out of 3 of our kids started summer camp today, which is awesome. And I'm very excited for them, but they both had to be at 2 different locations at 9 a.m. and they both had to be picked up at 2 different locations at 4 p.m. So it was a little much. So this is what we were getting everybody prepped for last night. So a lot of you are just showing up, and hey, welcome. We've been here for a hot minute because we kept this as an unlisted video and didn't make it public. So we have been enjoying the company of so many people in here already.
Mostly over on Facebook.
Who clicked through, and oh my goodness. So
those of you just joining us, welcome to our monthly night live stream.
It's gonna be a little extra long tonight. Like we gotta make it up to some people.
We do this on a Monday every month for our mile marker members, and we open it up to the entire community about twice a year. Mile markers are our paid support community.
That information is down below.
That's at the bottom if you're interested. But
go back and watch the last 35 minutes of this. We've had some really fantastic conversations. We've played 50 state bingo.
Rex says, fill the glasses and start over.
What's that scene from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective where he does like the entire catch of the football like backwards? That's pretty much what we need to do right now.
Craig was watching the January one and said we were talking about snow coming in headed to Tampa. Brilliant. What a mess.
Wow.
Anyway, if you have questions about RVing, about travel, about us, about anything, please leave them in the comments, and we will do our best to get to them. And
we're having cocktails. Let's replay that. this
Yeah.
is our drink for tonight because we aren't fully set up here.
Yeah, the last 2 minutes, we literally doubled the
Oh.
number of people watching.
Independence, Missouri, representing.
Hey.
We love the Truman Home in Independence, Missouri. One of our favorite National Park Service sites to go to. It is actually our oldest favorite park video.
He really
Like,
loves that park video. I don't know why.
Yeah. My brother's here. I'm pretty sure that's my brother. So that makes sense. So we've now made this public. So here comes all the riffraff. And if you're not my brother, I'm really glad you're here. But this really sounds like my brother. So we'll see how it
Her
goes.
brother's name is also Jason.
Yeah.
Not confusing at all. Especially because in her phone, I am Jason Epperson and her brother is Jason.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah. We know that you just got the notification, friends. We're really sorry about that. We had the video set to unlisted unknowingly. And so YouTube did not send it out to the 104,000 of you out there to come and join us. So we're going to stick around for those of you that are just showing up now or who will start to come in as we get settled here. We're going to stick around a little bit later tonight. Usually we're here for about an hour with all of our mile marker friends, but we will stick around a little bit later tonight to make it up to all of you who we just screwed this up so bad.
It was supposed to be last Monday, and now we've done this, and we sent the email for the wrong date. This is why this studio has to get done so that it is not so that we can be organized, so that we can hire a staffer or two.
Yeah, I don't need a personal assistant to necessarily schedule things. I need like a typical personal assistant. I need a personal assistant to just go around and remind me. Maybe that, okay,
make sure
I guess that is the definition of a personal assistant. I just need someone to remind me that it's Monday because I don't know.
You can tell Google to do that for you.
It is
every morning. Hey, Google, what day is it?
It is a darn tootin' wonder that we keep humans alive.
That's true.
Or a business going.
It's true.
I feel like we shouldn't feel proud like when this happens, but when we get a podcast episode out on the same day of the week, multiple times in the row, I'm like, oh, look at us adulting with our business. We're so good. And then inevitably we'll be like, oh, well, it's Thursday again and we forgot to do a podcast. So what are you reading down here? You've got
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Jason.
Okay. So I think this does need to go on. So we've been talking about having a bingo board. The mile marker member created a bingo board for us. And this clearly wrong video. Sorry. We should probably just put sorry on the bingo board. Oops, we did it again. So
well, here's the other thing, Jeff. So we're RVers. We're used to things not going to plan. Thank you. We appreciate
Thank you for the grace.
The thing too, really, to be truthful, not being full-time RVers anymore, and having our kids are in day camp this week. 2 of them.
Oh, I thought you just said daycare, and I was like,
day camp.
I mean, it's kind of.
We as full-time RVers running our own business we were used to, going to the grocery store on a Monday afternoon, going to, all the popular tourist destinations on weekdays, and now we live a much more traditional Monday to Friday work life. With the weekends off sort of thing. And you would think that would make it easier for us to know what day it is, but it's actually made it harder.
No, it's just it's fine. It's fine. We'll get there. We will get there. But yes, it just does seem that despite all of our best efforts, and we truly are giving it our best efforts. And I feel that too, because we talked even about like Bex, friends, please go back and watch the first half an hour of this, because we talked about how we are letting go of being brand ambassadors in the RV industry anymore, so that we can be more neutral news organization.
Let me add to that a little bit too. That
Yeah,
you know,
why
so
don't you build on that? That's a really important
I
thing to
think
talk about.
we were lucky with Sabre. Sabre was very open to sort of let us be who we were, and they never asked. Sabre,
Gotta be me.
Sabre being a Forest River brand. Forest River had never. We made it clear in the contract, first of all, but Forest River had never asked us to deviate in any way from what we do. It's never, we couldn't. They had no issues with us doing stories about them, all that sort of stuff. But just going forward and being done with that contract and thinking about moving forward again.
Here, this way you won't spill it.
We actually talked. Had been talking with Sabre about working with them again, but we just we didn't have the right rig fit for us, and we had talked to some other brands and stuff too, and this stuff that's going on with Grand Design lately has really I can't imagine what it must be like to be an influencer for Grand Design right now. Whatever your feelings are on that whole situation, like being in a situation like that would not be appropriate for us, being people who do the news and cover the industry in a newsy way. So we're moving away from being brand ambassadors, and that's going to open us up to do some stuff that we've really planned on doing for a long time. We definitely are working towards building something that eventually will cover all the different brands. Our dream is to find a way to communicate to the industry or to the consumers which RV to buy. There's nothing right now that says this RV is a better quality than this one, because there's just nobody doing it. There's sort of no big, or there's too many brands is part of the problem. But like, all you can do right now is watch YouTube videos and go to Facebook and ask for people's opinions. And that's not really a scientific way to purchase a, $40,000, $100,000, $200,000 product.
I mean, I don't know about you, but there's some YouTubers out there making some walkthrough videos that I thoroughly enjoy.
Oh, sure. I mean,
I
know. Yeah, but they can't tell you, they can't.
I know, you're right. They can't.
And I don't mean they won't. I mean, they can't. They don't have the.
Yes.
There's no way to say, well, this unit on a regular basis, this one has these types of, because it's a lot more complex than I think a lot of people think. A lot of people think, okay, well, that's a good brand, that's a bad brand, and that's, they build good ones, they build bad ones. That's how it's going to be. No, it's, this brand has good structure, good walls and roofs. This brand has uses quality windows and appliances, and this brand's finish work is really good, and this brand's running gear is bad. It's complex. There's a lot going on. And I think our goal is to find a consumer report type way, a car and driver type way of really judging units and giving the appropriate info to people so that they can make informed decisions in some way. And we have a lot of ideas about how to do that, and we're working towards that. And being brand ambassadors would make no sense at all. So.
And that's part of the reason why we sort of finally gave in a little bit and started the mile marker group, the having a platform where we're consumer or listener funded a little bit more, because it also allows us to step back from an overabundance of brand deals. If you've noticed over time that a lot of that is really decreased in the very beginning of our business, like any small business, you hustle. You have got to figure out a way to pay the bills and keep this going, because you know you have a dream, right? You know you're trying to get to this one place. So this is one of the reasons, and I know we mention mile markers on a pretty regular basis in every piece of content we do at this point. We share it a lot. And that is because we're not trying to just take your money. It's not about just taking your money. It's about the ultimate goal of becoming something that is sustained within our own ecosystem by the consumer more than us going out. And we work with some great brands. Like, listen, I love me some RV mattress, and I'm not going to pretend like I don't. I do. I love them. They're great people. I enjoy working with them. I would like to be able to do that more in a way that doesn't get comments all the time that are like, oh, you just got that for free, so I can't trust you. Well, and I don't know why I made you Southern. You don't have to be Southern. No shade to my friends in the South. I just like a Southern accent.
Sometimes people get really upset about some of the ads, right? Like,
oh, for sure. I mean, but
stop talking about RV mattress.
That's a commercial. What do you want from me?
It's not us. It's like lots of YouTube channels do the RV mattress thing. And I would like people to look at this a different way. Not that all these YouTubers are trying to hawk mattresses at you. I think the way to look at it is rvmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding.
It just rolls off your tongue at this point.
They are supporting so many RV content creators.
Oh, for sure.
They're making it possible for us all to create content and doing it in a way that allows us to share a product that not everybody needs. But if you decide to get one, we've never talked to anybody that wasn't happy with one. And it's not something that's spammy, scammy. It's not something we have to be concerned about, like, RV internet plans and stuff like that. So I think
we get a lot of requests for solar. That's something we have to be really careful about. We get a lot of requests for different solar brands and generators and solar. It's the wild west out there.
Do you know how many emails we get from Temu a year? Temu is how you pronounce it, right?
Temu.
I always call it Temu.
I don't know.
You know how many emails we get we get at least 5 emails a week from them wanting to work with us.
Yeah. And it's always someone different. It's always someone different that's reaching out to us. It's really impressive. They've got a bandwidth of they are just thousands of emails just go out, and they're just waiting for somebody to just like and grab. So this is the world of RV Miles. We're glad to be able to talk to those of you that are here tonight to hear our vision and what we're building here in the studio. I want to go back and grab some questions. And let's start here with BB. Do you think that the government will ever impose regulations? That is such the
RV industry is self-regulated. If anyone's not familiar. So, they do have a set of standards, and they do get together and create these standards. And there are inspectors that go do surprise inspections of factories and stuff, and they're supposed to uphold these standards. The standards aren't good enough. As long as nothing overtly tragic happens, I don't think the government will step in and impose standards on the RV industry. But it's certainly possible that something overtly tragic will happen one day. I think in terms of safety of the units, though, the RV industry does a pretty good job. I mean, obviously, they're not going to hold up in a lot of crash situations, but that's not the point. Actually, motorhome, the crashes, the deaths per mile in motorhomes is way lower than people think it is. It's like a third of regular passenger vehicles, and that tends to happen. That tends to be because you're riding higher, or at least I believe you're riding higher than the vehicles that might hit you or that you might hit. So yeah, that vehicle might, class C motorhome might completely be destroyed in a crash, but generally people walk away from that. So my point being, as long as safety continues to be upheld, I don't think the government will have much interest in getting involved. That's just my 2 cents on that.
There you go. I want to grab a few more comments here. Here we go. Are used motorhome sales flat, dead? Is RV Trader's premium deal worth it? Love your news reports. Go for it, Jay.
So used RVs ride right with new RVs. So because new RV sales are significantly down and new RV prices have come down significantly, or at least the units people are willing to buy, the price they're willing to pay for them is significantly come down. And it being harder to get a loan with good terms right now means that used RV prices are also down, or if the prices are high, those units aren't selling. So you might still see, and you will still see if you go on RV Trader, a lot of inflated prices on used RVs sold by private sellers because they're trying to get out of it what they owe on it. And a lot of people bought really high back in 2021, 2022, and are trying to get rid of something that they can't get that money back on. So yes, used RV prices are a lot better than they used to be. There is more availability of used RVs right now, but you can also get some pretty good deals on some new stuff, especially if it's a model or year or two older. If you are selling, which it sounds like you are, since you're talking about doing the RV Trader thing, I do think that it is worth it. I think most people that are buying used right now are primarily looking on RV Trader. I think that's the main play. It has become sort of this central platform where people book. So I do think it is worth it to pay the $70 or whatever to RV Trader.
And the unfortunate reality is that if you bought between, I would say, mid to late 2020 and into the early 2022s, maybe even into summer of 2022, especially if you took out a loan, you're not getting that money back.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to get for that RV what your loan is.
Depending on what you put down on it and everything.
Yeah.
But
I mean, now let's just say for the average person, what was put down on that loan is not enough to cover where the market's at this point.
Yeah,
like that is
but
the reality.
It's going to continue to drop. So if you're looking to sell, I don't see a reason to wait.
We have a Sabre 37 FLL if anyone's interested.
I think there might have been a comment or two.
I'm just saying,
actually,
I need that RV off of my storage unit. It needs to go. So if anyone's interested, just let us know. So you kind of.
Yeah, I was trying to go back onto.
Where are you trying to go?
There was a question about the Rigger RV repair channel.
Oh, that's further down here.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going back to. So
yeah,
the question was, what do we think about?
I got this. I don't
know how he pronounces his last name, Rigger or Rigor or whatever.
Yeah,
but Jacob does a fantastic job. I love his videos, and he's actually we've been talking. He's going to be on the podcast soon.
Oh, is that who we're having on the podcast? Yeah. Oh, okay. Fantastic. I'm very excited about that. We have a series coming up here in a few weeks over on the RV Miles podcast, where we're going to be talking about 3 different aspects of RV service repair in 3 different episodes.
I just to give you a teaser, I did an interview with a marketing person from Bish's RV. So Bish's, if you know Josh, the RV nerd, our buddy, is the chain of RV dealerships that he works for. I don't know how many I don't know how many locations they have. I think it's less than 20. And they're doing something interesting where they're building out this program called Bish Fix, where the idea is to not have you wait for repair forever. They can't fix a quality problem, but they believe that they can fix I show up with my RV, drop it off for my service appointment that's 3 weeks from now to have them look at it. Then it waits 6 weeks for parts and so on. They believe that they can solve that, get you on the road faster, or let you keep your unit while you wait for the parts, all that sort of stuff. And so I had a really interesting conversation with him. And actually, after we were done recording, he was talking to me about the problem in delays in RV repair. And he was saying, it's all on us, meaning him, the dealerships.
Yeah, not us.
He was saying it is
you.
not the manufacturers. He was like, the manufacturers are so quick with warranty approval when it's presented to them in a timely and proper way. They actually track the amount of time it takes. Sometimes it's hours, right? He's saying that the vast majority of delays in getting your RV repaired are like, you show up for that appointment and the service advisor sees it. And then the service advisor has to put it on the schedule of the actual technician. So they can't get to it for 3 weeks. And then your warranty paperwork sits on somebody's desk while they eventually get to it to call the manufacturer. And then that approval takes forever. And then ordering the part and shipping it and all that sort of stuff. He's like, it's all on us. It's all our people, things that we can have our people do to make this go a lot faster. So I encourage you to listen to that interview. It's going to be, I think, next week's episode.
No,
2 weeks.
no, it'll probably be out early July.
Oh,
around the time we get on the road.
Oh, I thought you wanted to make it next week's. Never mind.
No,
it'll be.
You should get on. I have a Trello account or Trello or whatever this organizational.
You don't even know what it's
I don't even know what it's called, but it was brought to me as something that could put my life
didn't
right.
Know you had the episodes in order.
I have.
He'll be on in a few weeks.
Made a schedule that we will never adhere to. Anyway, Tim would like us to define what is an RV resort.
What should be an RV resort or what is?
Well, hold on. So episode 321 of the RV Miles podcast, I believe we talked a little bit about this. We'll go into it here too, but that episode is all about listener comments. When we went out and asked you all, and this is something we've been doing pretty regularly. So if you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook, you should, because we've been dropping these comments. We want to hear from you guys. And one of the things we asked was, what drives you nuts about, a hidden fee or whatever? And we did a little bit of defining in there.
I think
what we think a resort is.
I think an RV resort, if you're going to call it an RV resort, it should have a bunch of amenities for RVers. I mean, it should have pools, pickleball, water slides, whatever it is. They don't need to all be the same everywhere. But the reality is that the resort moniker is absolutely meaningless. We've been to $150 a night campgrounds, and we've been to run down terrible pieces of junk resorts.
Like saying that this is a Four Seasons campground or RV. That's there's no such thing.
Meaningless term.
It's not real. For the most part, that is not real. If I could define, I will give an example of what I believe is more of an RV resort. And that would be, if you want to go look, you can go check out the San Diego Sun Outdoors RV Resort.
Yeah.
That is an RV resort. There have been ones that we have stayed at, and I don't want to throw shade at anybody, but there have been ones that we have stayed at that have used that term, and we have rolled up in there and been like,
even if they have some of this
playground from 1982 with the metal slide is not a resort.
There's a place near us. Now I'll be honest, they call themselves a campground, so as they should. But when I describe this to you, it's going to sound resorty. So they've got a pool, they've got mini golf, they've got a playground, they've got a giant lake with fishing, and
I know what you're talking about now.
And they've got video games and stuff like that. There are lots of places that would call themselves a resort. They're also $90 a night. There are lots of places that would call themselves a resort if they fit into that category. But when you go to this place, all that stuff kind of sucks. So
none of it's been maintained. Yeah, none of it's been taken care of. I wouldn't get in that pool to save my life, because I think my life would be ended by like the disease I will get swimming in that pool.
I guess the reality should be a resort is a place that is the destination, right? You're going to a resort to visit the resort. Like it's going to have what it should be like in the hotel industry is they have restaurants, they have the pools, they have it's you go spend a week there and you don't really go anywhere else because there's nothing to draw you away. It's a destination upon itself, but it's just not the reality in the camping industry at all.
Listen, look at my dad. He's so fancy. My dad
So,
is fancy.
like the Bellagio.
I
Ooh.
I like the way he thinks. I mean, we're Trabus. What can I say? We like fancy things. My mom did ask if my dad could back up the Sabre, because I guess she's decided, like, she's like, they're gonna buy it. And then my dad was like, hell no. You don't want a 43-foot fifth wheel, Mom. Trust me. Cheryl, please talk to her. Tell her to get a van. That's what she wants.
The smallest ones can be a little harder to back up sometimes. If you're real small.
We know. Yeah. Having the embarrassment of a few times trying to back in backseat and being like, WTF, why can't we get this to just go where we want it to go? What is happening here? I wanted to grab this question because this is interesting. No one's ever asked this of us before, or I've never seen it asked in general.
Meaning the show, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The RV show.
Yeah. So they're talking. So the question is will Quartzsite, the RV show that happens, I believe late January,
right
Tony
after,
and Peggy jump
right
in.
after Tampa.
Will that grow in popularity as the Florida RV Super Show, which happens in Tampa in January, becomes overcrowded? Now, I will counter that, friends, by saying I do believe that last year's Super Show in Tampa, attendance was down a little bit compared to 2022,
but it was down.
Or 2023. I'm sorry, but it's still high attendance. I think I think at this point, the only numbers I feel like going forward we should be looking at when it comes to attendance and campground stays and things like that are what are we seeing in the back half of 2023 going into 2024? Because now I think the industry is starting to plateau. We as RVers are starting to
I don't
calm down.
I don't think the Quartzsite show will ever be a manufacturer RV show in the way that Tampa is. So Tampa and Hershey are the two RV shows where the manufacturers really run the thing. The rest of RV shows around the country are run by dealers. So those two shows, Hershey is sort of beginning of the model year, and Tampa is beginning of RV show season, sort of mid-model year.
Mm-hmm.
So Hershey, you'll often see a lot of brand new stuff that's just been shown to dealers for the first time. You're seeing it for the very first time at Hershey. Tampa, you'll sometimes get some of that sort of stuff that they didn't get out soon enough. It's sort of mid-year, but then also like prototype stuff that is further down the line. And the part of the thing is Florida is such a big state for RV sales. They're in the top 3. I'm not sure where they rank in that. And obviously Arizona is a big state for RV sales too, but Quartzsite isn't really near the big population centers. It's not near a lot of the dealerships because the dealers have to bring the units there. And it's so much further for the RV manufacturers to get their stuff there. So I do think, there used to be this the big Pomona show outside of LA, which was sort of the West Coast annual manufacturer show. And I do think there's a need for something like that to return so that people in the West can have a big annual show that is like the show.
We would like to see that happen in different pockets of the country, just in general. There's a hope. Kansas City. There's a real hope. And we were at the Kansas City RV show last year, and it's the end of January. And we've been in contact and kept in contact with the organizers there. And that particular show is really primed to be something that is very accessible to people who live in the Midwest, maybe the Plains states, right? It's really hard for people to get all the way over to Hershey or all the way down to Tampa, especially for those of us, living in the winter environments. Like, to get down there for these shows, it's really difficult. And I think that that's a missed opportunity for the industry. You're getting kind of, as we talk about, overcrowded these events, right? Well, part of that is they're becoming opportunities for people like ourselves to get down there and see what's going on, and be able to make connections with industry people we wouldn't normally see, or other content creators, and have a gathering like that. But there needs to be stuff like that in different places, like you talked about with that show that's no longer in California. It'd be great if there was something like that in the Midwest. That is, to me, where this needs to go, to kind of break up a little bit of what's happening in Tampa. Tampa's very overwhelming. I mean, just from a work standpoint, we were there for 3 or 4 days, clocking 20,000 steps a day, like,
Yeah.
just go, 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 in an attempt to just try and see everything that we could, so we could accurately report on it. And that's bananas. We're not going to be at Hershey this year. It's a bad time of year for us to go out that way, but it's something that needs to grow. I agree. I see some comments, Cheryl. I agree. There needs to be more selection in the Kansas City show. That needs to happen, but that has to be the dealers making an effort. And it can't be, or excuse me, the industry. It can't, these dealer run shows are kind of just like hamstrung by what they have. Whereas these places like Tampa and Hershey, they're driving stuff out there to get them to these shows. So I think it's something, if I would like to see the industry spend a little bit more time on, and pay a little bit more attention to.
I don't understand why the RV industry, I need to talk to more people about this and really understand why they don't have a major show close to home. I mean, 80% of RVs are manufactured in
What the
Indiana.
heck?
Why don't they have a giant show in Indianapolis or in the Chicago suburbs? I mean, they're an hour from Chicago, or do it McCormick Place, something like that. Why don't they have a Detroit? Why don't they have a big show in their home state? Especially because here's the thing. I talked about this before on the podcast. So the RV industry does this thing in September every year that they call open house. And what it is they fly dealers from around the country to Elkhart, Indiana area. They pay for the hotels and everything, and they show them their wares. So they set up these big events where they really wine and dine the dealers, to show them. They're showing them the units for the first time in September for the model year, and they put on concerts. Like John Mellencamp played last year at one of them. I mean,
yeah, he did. I forgot about
they
that.
put on big events for these people. They feed everybody, thousands and thousands of people, and I'm kind of like, well, why don't you combine that with an RV show and do some of that stuff for the customers? It seems like such a no-brainer to me.
I'm sorry. We're trying. Like, we wanted to go to Hershey this year, but we made a decision that we wanted to put something else first, some family stuff first. And so we're doing that instead. It's like the second or third weekend in September. I don't know. You might be able to go by yourself. I don't know.
The thing for me too is what happens is open house is usually right before Hershey or right after Hershey.
Yeah.
So I go to open house.
None of it's easy.
It doesn't make sense for me to do both, because that's taking time away from stuff. So going to open house is really convenient, because I can really meet a lot of the manufacturer reps and stuff. They're not trying to talk to customers and all that. So,
this is just, everybody get ready. Here comes the broken record. We would really love to get up to the Northeast. Like, we would love to.
We always say next year.
I at this point just have to set the expectation that that might not happen until it's just like you and I on the road. Like it's getting harder. Our kids are this trip this year that we're doing is not the trip we intended to do. But our oldest was accepted into he was into a film intensive. I don't have words. He was accepted into a 2-week camp that's a film intensive that he really wanted to do, and he had to apply for it. And they had to look over his portfolio. It was a really big deal for him. We couldn't tell him no, and so that's so important to his life development. And so we upended our entire travels for the summer to make that happen for him. And we're still going to some amazing places. Like this is great because it's affording us opportunities to go places we haven't been to yet. It's affording us opportunities to see friends we haven't seen in a very, very long time. So that's all great. But I do think that a lot of our travels right now are very kid driven. Because our kids gave us 8 years on the road and it was awesome. And we all had such an amazing time, but we know that this is a time and a season for us that we really need to respect and honor sort of like their interests that tend to keep them stationary in one place. Our 13-year-old is currently in rehearsals for a musical. He's doing a summer camp that they're like in rehearsal 9 to 4 every single day. And in 10 days, he's going to have a show up on its feet. Like that's just wild. And as much as we'd like to go do some local camping, we can't because Ethan's, he's in camp. So I'm just like chomping at the bit to get up there, but it is a really big trip that I'm not sure we're going to be able to do for a while. So you talk while I look for the next great question.
So
they're all great questions.
Yeah, I mean, there I go, spill again.
What is that? We should have that on the bingo card. Like,
somebody already said that.
Many times. So,
yeah, another point was made too that it's really easy to fly into Tampa.
Yes.
So for all of the manufacturer reps and folks like us and stuff, if we fly out, it's just and buyers, a lot of buyers. There's a lot of class A's, a lot of high-end fifth wheels and stuff. There are a lot of buyers and a lot of people that are wintering in Florida, right? Whether they're RVers or not, a lot of people winter in Florida, and those are the types of people that tend to buy RVs. So it's a little bit harder for Quartzsite to like, you can't just fly to Quartzsite, and there's not hotels that they can put up a whole bunch of manufacturer reps and all that sort of stuff. Quartzsite is a small town that balloons in size every winter. And it's an amazing thing. I love it. I love the whole idea of it and everything. And those people are the people that go stay the winter in Quartzsite are the most hardcore RVers. They're the people that are frankly often sticking with their rig for many, many years too. Not quite the ideal buyer, but for accessories and parts and solar and all that sort of stuff, it is a great place for that sort of stuff and for community. I mean, there's nothing that beats Quartzsite for community. That they try to do a little bit of that in Tampa. They've got the campground there, and some of the pardon me, some of the manufacturers have little groups of folks at the campground and make it kind of mini rally type, but nothing beats the sort of community in Quartzsite where it's put together by RVers.
Yeah, I would say if you ever have a question about it, our friends Tony and Peggy from the Stressless Camping podcast, reach out to them. They're here. They're here tonight. They've been talking about it in the comments. You should go in and check it out. But they are there. They have organized several events that happen there. They're a wealth of information about that. And one of these days we will get out there, hopefully. Again, there's so many places we need to go to. Casey, I kind of said me too to you, but yeah, 10 days is a lot for kids to put a show up. This is the high school kids here in the community. This is a theater program that Ethan's been a part of. Their theater is just down the street from right here from the studio, which is fantastic because Ethan can walk over after after camp, but they are doing Legally Blonde, the musical. So they save themselves a little bit by doing something set in modern times, right? Because it helps with the costumes. And also the kids are crazy for this show. Like, this is the fourth time this theater company has produced this show because like the teens love it. So we're very excited. In 10 days, we'll be sitting in the audience cheering our son on, who is playing the JetBlue pilot. So we're very excited for him.
JetBlue.
I know there's something you haven't heard of in a while. So we're probably gonna start to wind this down a little bit. It's 9:15, and we do need to get home to the kiddos. All of them have, two of them have camp in the morning. So what's the average age of your viewers? I don't know. How old are you? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I've been
Jason,
watching
I'd say
you.
you are the average age.
I would say you are the average age, and you just had a birthday. So I would say you are the average age. But if you do have a couple more questions, we can take them really quick.
Older than you look, younger than you sound.
Wow. But again, if you are joining us for the first time in several months and you want to learn more about being a mile marker, we do this every month with our mile marker friends. Many people here tonight who have been commenting represent that community, and they are fantastic humans. Our entire RV Miles community is really great. Our RV Miles Facebook group that has over 13,000 people, and it is really one of the nicest Facebook groups out there. They really keep it positive, and that's through the membership of so many of you. And of course, if you're here on YouTube, we really appreciate that you come back each and every week to watch our news videos, to check out our podcast. If you haven't seen the RV Miles podcast channel, we have all of our long form podcasts episodes are over there. You can go and watch those. It's very similar to the setup you see here tonight, where we're chatting with each other and interviews about topics that matter to you and the consumer. So we would really love to welcome more of you into Mile Markers and help us continue to be that voice for you, the consumer. So
thank you so much, Steve. We really appreciate
Steve,
you being
thank
a mile
you.
marker. I want to say too, there have been a lot of folks lately emailing us or direct messaging us stories that they've come across for us to share on the news.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate that. I might not always be able to get back to you because it might be 10 people sharing us the same story. But please keep doing that. If you come across something, or if you see something on the road that you think that might be worth sharing, you take a video of something happening in a campground, or you heard about something, you have a question about a story that you want us to follow up on and get the real truth about, please don't hesitate to send us an email at editor@rvmiles.com, which is listed on all of the descriptions in our videos. You can also always just leave a comment and ask for those things as well. And if enough people are asking about something, I definitely look into it, but even just one person is often enough. So
yeah, and a lot of the videos we've done lately, if you've noticed on the channel, so the site lock fee, the KOA explained, and then even over on the podcast, talking about hidden fees, or maybe the worst or best advice that you've received, those are all listener driven. Those are all driven by you. That is comments that we're seeing, questions that we see you being asked, asking. And we're really driving the content that we do here to try and serve you, the RVer, the person that's out there who put this money into this thing that they want to do and that they love. And we really do want to educate, but also at the same time, we do want to bring back the joy of RVing a little bit. There's been a lot of contentious things lately, especially as we continue in frame flex frenzy and everything that's happening there. That's really dampered.
Let's be
RV.
real. The YouTube algorithm in particular, and social media algorithms, tend to support discord, anger, drama, and
there's been plenty of
but
those who have decided that the only way to grow their channel or their brand is to come at all of us and this thing that they too are a part of.
And for sometimes we have to share difficult stories, and that's a part of it. But there's a reason we do this. Like, we all love camping and travel and all of it. This is why we RV. And
I can't get out of here fast enough. I mean, I love having a home base to come to. I think that I am excited about 6 weeks. I think the reason why we could keep Bexy and we could say, this is the RV we're going to stay in. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to go purchase another one. We're going to just be RVers. And I think the reason why we could do that partially is because we know we have a home base to come back to. It's not 6 years in Bexy, it's 6 weeks. I've been very open that as amazing as 2023 was, and everywhere that we went, by the time we rolled back in here, having been in that 25-foot RV for 8 months, it broke me. I was like, I am done. I need out of this space. And so I think that part of the reason why we can keep it and we can go into it and know is that we will come back here. We will come back to this studio, and we will come back to this life in this small business that we're building here. And then the joy of being able to get out there and get back into a campground and know that we have that place to go to when our soul needs that space is really a beautiful thing. Just like when we started full-timing 8 years ago, what a beautiful thing that was for our family at that time, that filled a need that we had for a very, very long time. Like, we are still very much in love with Wanderbus and our school bus conversion and that time that we spent.
Thank you so much, Casey, and so many of the other comments that have followed. I really appreciate.
Don't make me cry, y'all. Come on now.
Hearing from all of you. Don't have time to go through all of them, but thank you all so much for all of your kind words that you're leaving. We really appreciate it, and thanks so much for being here. RV Miles is not about us; it is about a community, and it is you. So we're happy to participate in this world with you all and share this journey together. So thank you so much for being here. Check us out on the RV Miles podcast.
Come visit us. Come visit us here if you come through. And of course, I wanted to just piggyback really too about what you said about emailing. Please don't ever question, should I send this to Jason and Abby? Should I? And never please ever say, I don't mean to.
Some of the emails we've gotten.
Listen, if you're trying to get me to join Temu, please don't message me. Okay. Please don't message me. If you want me to look at a solar generator, first off, not real. No, don't want to do that.
Want to tell us how dumb and
please don't message me if you want to tell me like what a horrible human being I am. I'm done with those emails. But if you have something you want to share with us, story, about your travels or anything like that, please don't ever be like, I never started off with, I'm sorry to bother you. You're not a bother. We're really thankful that we get to talk to you. So not a bother, always welcome. Come visit us. We're going to do this live next month. Again, first Monday of the month for Mile Marker members. Please become a Mile Marker member. Come join us next month. Join us every week for the Detour episode, which is the after the podcast that we do for Mile Marker members, where we talk about really silly things like why our bathhouse is so awful. And Jason asks me questions that make me say words like fantastic Sam's and perms. So there you go. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. It was a real pleasure to be here tonight with you. Again, we apologize for the flub at the beginning of all of this, but we're really... Listen, I'm just going to put a shirt on that says I apologize now. It's just easier that way. But thank you again. And we will see all of you really, really soon. Please be safe and have a good rest of your night.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.